Take a look at the top prospects for the Washington Nationals. Lucas Giolito, according to MLB.com, is the top pitching prospect in the game today. Eric Fetty, a recent right-hander that they drafted, also a Tommy John guy. Giolito and Eric Fetty. Lucas Giolito was passed on because of his elbow injury. For more on the Nationals farm system, let's welcome in Nats Assistant GM and VP of Player Development and Pro Scouting, Doug Harris, to the show. Doug, thanks for your time. And let's talk about the big picture philosophy, especially in the first round. Because it's the first round, because the money is what it is, a lot of GMs stay away from what they consider to be damaged goods, guys that already need an elbow surgery at such a young age. Yet the Washington Nationals do not think that way. Why?
Well, I think first and foremost, the talent of the two individuals speaks for itself. But Mike has a lot of confidence in our process, in evaluating the players, as well as our process in bringing those players back to where they were before their injuries. And those are the two biggest reasons that we've made those choices.
Hi, Doug. It's Joe Lemire. We just had a segment about prospects who've been traded twice and how often if a GM is willing to give them up in a deal 2 times, you know, it maybe shows that there's something wrong and maybe they aren't going to pan out. But with a guy like A.J. Cole, that second trade was to get him back. What was the sort of the thinking about it, trying to get him back, and how hard was it to move him the first time?
It was very difficult when he was involved in the deal initially. We knew what we were giving up, and when the opportunity presented itself for us to reacquire him, we had a lot of confidence in what his ceiling would be and what we would, how we would be capable of developing him once he returned.
Hey, Doug, it's Tom Verducci. Let's talk hitting here. Michael Taylor, guy you picked out of high school, has now had more than 500 minor league games. People like to see that kind of development. He turns 24 next month. Looks like he's really major league level. Ready, tell us where he's at development-wise, especially with some injury questions regarding Jason Worth.
Yeah, from a talent standpoint, he has the ability to impact the game, a broad scale. He really did a great job last year. His approach evolved throughout the course of the year. He understands his approach now, his posture, his lower half, and that was critical for him in having success not only at bat to at bat, but pitch to pitch. And he just continued to gain confidence throughout the course of the year, put himself in a position to help the big league club at some point this year if need be.
Hey, Doug, it's Ron Darling. I know in spring training, one of the big things for all camps are looking at the left-handers in camp. Matt Grace, a guy that was in the rotation at UCLA with Garrett Cole and others, is a guy that has really come on after you've taken him out of the rotation and made him a relief pitcher.
Yeah, he came to us as a reliever, and for the developmental process, we put him in the rotation to give him maximize every rep that we could, both in game and side sessions, and we sent him out through A-ball as a starter to give him those opportunities. Once we put him back in the pen, he really took off. We really feel like it fits his mindset, his skill set, and he's got a chance to help us this year as well.
Doug, I want to ask you about that 3-team Will Myers trade. You know, our guy Ron Darling was traded 6 months after he was drafted in the first round. You can't do that anymore. It's got to be a whole calendar year. So the player to be named later, you also got Joe Ross, a highly coveted right-handed pitcher, but that player to be named later, who I'm sure you cannot talk about, as many believe is a guy that was drafted just in 2014. So you have to wait for this guy to become your property. Is that a weird thing that you have a young player that is being controlled by another organization? How does that work? How do you monitor that and basically play the waiting game for him?
We've had a lot of internal discussions, both prior to the deal and post-deal, with discussing all the scenarios that could exist going into this thing during the season, how we're going to continue to evaluate the player or players to be involved. And, once we get the player, we'll get our arms around them and go from there. But we have a lot of contingencies in place to monitor that progress.
Wow. Doug Harris of the Washington Nationals front office, thanks for your time. We appreciate it.
Thanks for having me, guys.